Now, I mentioned a man named John Savage. John Savage is a Christian author, and as you consider the works of John Savage, there's a simple picture, if you please, that's based on three animals. Now, if you can notice this picture, this is a picture of an ape. Perhaps a gorilla, perhaps an orangutan, but this is a picture of an ape. But in this context, here's what an ape stands for. An ape is an anxiety-producing event. We walk into situations of change, of stress, and there is all kinds of anxiety. And this ape represents, if you please, an anxiety-producing event that comes into our lives. Now, depending on what country you come from in the world, you may or may not recognize this animal. This animal is called a skunk. Now, a skunk has its own set of self-protecting behaviors. When a skunk is threatened, this long, beautiful tail that it has, that tail is lifted and a horrible odor is spewed out against the threat. That is how a skunk protects itself. Now, maybe in your country of origin you don't have skunks, but maybe you can think of a small creature about the size of a dog, but when threatened, it goes into a defensive, attacking kind of procedure. In fact, for places that there are skunks, there's a saying, a dog can beat a skunk in a fight, but it's not worth it. The end result is that it's just too unpleasant, and so the most prudent thing for the dog to do is to give the skunk its room and just to walk away. Now, there's another animal that perhaps like the ape, perhaps we know about around the world, a turtle. A turtle also has a different set of self-protecting behaviors. When a turtle experiences, it goes into that shell, it's very quiet, it slowly walks away from the situation. John Savage writes and helps us to explain that as Christians, within the life of church, there are times that apes appear, stressful moments. It could be a situation, in fact, it could be a person. And even though we don't think about it consciously, when those apes, those anxiety-producing events, when they come into the life of our church, we begin having reactions. Some people are just, they're spewing out all kinds of bad smell, if you please, like that little skunk, and and then they walk away. And then the turtles, they perhaps become even more quiet than they normally would, and they just gather themselves in. But unfortunately, if you see this diagram, in both situations, whether it's the skunk or whether it's the turtle, the natural tendency is to walk away. We want to get away from that stress. We want to get away from that anxiety. But we know that we must face stressful times with confidence from the Lord. We must face the challenges that are ahead of us. We must continue to move forward because we are going to make it through these times as we rebuild a new normal.